Today I'm going to talk about the plastic waste in ocean. Think back to the past week and how much plastic you used and how much of that plastic you threw away. And out of all that plastic that you threw away, how much of it was single-use plastic? Our oceans of the world are being contaminated by plastic waste at an estimated rate of equal to one filled trash truck of plastic waste per day that is being dumped into the oceans. And this waste is affecting the marine and mammal life in the oceans. I began doing my own research on this after I watched the documentary of Plastic Ocean. I was just astonished by what we saw on the documentary about how much waste is in the ocean and what damage it's doing to our marine life. I started checking the information that was on that video and doing a lot of research and found out, yes, in fact, we are dumping a lot of plastic into our oceans, way too much, and especially single-use plastics, which we could really use a lot less of if we really thought about it. The first thing I'm going to talk about was that there is a real problem with our plastic usage, especially the single plastic usage and how it's getting into the oceans. The second thing I want to talk about is how it's affecting our marine wildlife and the negative things it's doing to the ecosystems in the ocean. Lastly, I would like to speak about how we can begin to change and to do things a little differently so that we can consume less of these single-use plastics. The first item I want to address is the plastic problem. There's an estimated 46,000 particles of plastic parts per square mile in the ocean, according to the National Geographic News publication in 2016. The main contributors of this plastic are the single-use bottles, cups, straws, and plastic bags. This plastic is lightweight and it moves easily in the wind and water. It flows into our rivers, which flow into our oceans, which get filled up with the plastic waste. It also gets in there by all the flooding that we've had with the hurricanes and the rivers flooding. That also contributes to the plastics going into our oceans as well. Some fear of the BPA getting onto our drinking water through our plastic bottles we're using, but all of those plastic bottles are going into the ocean and contaminating the ocean with their plastics as they break down. The sea life are consuming them, and that's affecting our contribution to us ingesting it when we eat the sea life. The next item I want to explain is how it affects the wildlife. There's an estimated over 1 million marine birds and over 100,000 mammals and sea turtles that perish as a direct result of the plastic waste. The wildlife suffering and their deaths come about from suffocation, strangulation, and starvation. They're ingesting these plastics, and the sea turtles see the bags and think that they're jellyfish. They look identical to them. They consume those, they get in their esophagus, and they either suffocate or the plastic is filling the birds and the mammals as they ingest it thinking it's food, and it's blocking their digestive systems and causing them to have starvation, or they're getting trapped in the nets and the plastic parts and pieces of the bottle caps, the rings that come off the bottle tops, and it's causing them strangulation and suffocation as well, or starvation because they're not able to digest the foods. Of these animals, monk seals, loggerhead sea turtles, and more are on the endangered species list, and they're being affected by the plastic waste as well. Lastly, I want to talk about what we can do. I understand we can't fix this overnight, but we can start somewhere. Each one of us can make a small contribution to help with the larger problem. Some of the things we can do are change how we use our plastic bags, single uses. Carry fabric bags. Keep them in your cars instead of plastic bags. Carry drink cups with you so that you can refill them at convenience stores instead of using the styrofoam. And drink out of the cups instead of using straws. Those are just small ways that we can do to help with our plastic consumption. In conclusion, the National Geographic News report in 2016 estimated that if we continue our current path with our plastic uses, by 2050, the ratio of plastic to sea life will be 1-to-1, meaning 1 pound of sea life to every pound of plastic that's in the ocean. Again, our oceans are being contaminated by plastic waste at an alarming rate, equal to the 1 garbage truckload full of plastics being dumped daily into our oceans. It's affecting our wildlife, and it's negatively affecting their ecology. I'm going to finish with a quote by the ocean biologist Sylvia Earle. It says, "Many of us ask, what can I, as one person, can do? But history shows us that everything good and bad starts because somebody did something or does not do anything." Thank you.